I should have known last week when Anthony said he would paddle his rowboat off Loser Island that the voyage would go horribly wrong. But I never thought me and Craig would find ourselves as unwilling passengers on his makeshift raft as disaster struck. The losing virus carried by Anthony somehow infected the entire show here at Brad Carroll's GameDay, and now we're all left trying to escape the island. Why, Anthony? Why?
Look, I know you're not used to being on Loser Island, but when you've been there as long as I've been, 1, 2, I don't remember how many weeks, you start to forget about your troubles, you relax, and you take in the beautiful surroundings, the lovely palm trees, the beautiful beaches, the beautiful blue water, the nice weather. So I invite you to sit back and relax, grab yourself a pina colada, and enjoy your stay at Loser Island.
Thanks, I guess. The island, which is barely big enough for its usual occupants, you know, Anthony, the New York Mets, means a long stay by the Wunder King should be out of the question. But for now, a 3-4 record by both Craig and I has us stranded. Anthony, who went 1-6 against the spread last week, may never leave the island. Anthony's been stranded for 7 straight weeks because of losing records. Is there a light at the end of this pitch black tunnel?
You know, I don't really know what it's like outside of Loser Island. I've been there so long, so I'm not sure if the grass is really greener on the other side. So for now, I'm just going to sit back, kick back, relax, and know the Mets aren't around, trust me. And enjoy my stay and grab myself another pina colada, though I remind you, you must be 21 to drink.
All right, without any further delay, it's week 12, which means another 7 games, another 7 picks. Here we go. Number 5, LSU hosts Ole Miss as 16-point favorites. The Tigers won't play for an SEC title this season, but there is a chance they could play for a national championship. Of course, that would be an embarrassment for college football, but Ole Miss is hoping to put an end to that right now with an upset victory.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. You know, I've spent most of the season like you and most of the people around the country going, how is LSU have one loss? They're not a good team. But you are what your record is, so they obviously are a good team. The reasons why, well, they play good defense and they run the ball pretty well. Those are 2 things that, you know, portable team. You can go on the road and win with that type of style. So I think they'll get it done again at home this week. I don't like Ole Miss's chances. They gave up 52 to Tennessee last week. Not a good recipe for success. LSU gets it done 38-20.
You know, we all know I'm extremely down on LSU and Coach Les Miles, and the Tigers potentially playing for a national title is as big a joke as there is in college football. But with that said, LSU will win this game against Ole Miss, even though that's not really saying much. The Rebels will stick around with the Tigers, though, making them the pick. LSU 27, Ole Miss 14. Next up is number 8, Ohio State, traveling to number 21, Iowa, as 3-point favorites. The Buckeyes need this game in order to stay in the hunt for a conference championship. Iowa's out of that race, but would like nothing more than to beat Ohio State at home.
Yeah, you said that right. Iowa is out of the race for a national title again. Every year they go into the seasons with hopes of cracking into that race, and they just seem to have those 1 or 2 losses that deter them. They did it again 2 weeks ago. They should have lost at Indiana. Last week, disappointing loss on the road at Northwestern. Meanwhile, Ohio State, they look like they're on track. They had a tough first half against Penn State last week, but they rolled in the second half. Terrell Pryor has things working, and I don't see them changing this week. 24-17, Ohio State wins another one.
You know, Ohio State has been terrible on the road this season, but there should be extra motivation in this game, as the end result could have the Buckeyes in a big BCS bowl, or playing in a second-tier bowl that Ohio State obviously doesn't want any part of. Iowa's a very good team, however, and will give OSU a fight. Still, I don't see the Buckeyes dropping this opportunity on the road. Ohio State 31, Iowa 24. Staying in the Big Ten, number 6 Wisconsin takes on Michigan as 4.5-point favorites. The Badgers are locked in a 3-way tie atop the conference, so this is as big as it gets for them. So, can Wisconsin end a 16-year losing streak in Ann Arbor?
Yes, they can. They dropped 83 points last week. Talk all you want about whether that was good sportsmanship or not, but they still scored 83 points. So imagine what they can score on Michigan's defense. Michigan's defense, I will give them credit. They played much, much better against Purdue last week, but I'm sorry, it's not going to happen this week. Their defense is horrible against the run, and Wisconsin has an absolutely awesome running attack. Wisconsin wins again, 42-27.
Yeah, I like Michigan and quarterback Denard Robinson a whole lot, but the Wolverines' defense is terrible, and I can only imagine how many points they will allow the Wisconsin this week. Don't look for another 83-point performance, but there will be a ton of scoring. Wisconsin 45, Michigan 31.
Wow.
And here we go.
Here he comes.
Thank you.
After last week, Lord knows what he's going to say about me this week.
This is Craig Carroll's statement. A little late than usual, but here we go. Time is running out this season, and nobody is happier about that than Anthony, who will go down in history as having the worst season of all time.
Let's see about that.
Brad and I had the same picks last week, and I've already called him a cheater, which he denies, but really, why would he pick South Carolina against his second favorite team, the Gators? I don't think Florida's my second favorite team.
Always blaming someone else for his problems. Always blaming someone else.
On to my picks. And you might as well call this week upset week because I'm picking 4 of them. So here we go. Ole Miss getting 16. Wisconsin giving 4.5. Iowa getting 3. Texas A&M getting 3. Arkansas giving 3.5. Army getting 8. My upset picks are Iowa, Texas A&M, and Army. For my game of the week, rivals collide when the Hokies bring their so-called talents to South Beach as 2-point favorites to battle Miami. If Virginia Tech wins, they go to the ACC title game. If Miami wins, they keep hope alive for a spot in that game. In the end, Miami's running game and wide receiver Leonard Hankerson will be too much for the Hokies, and Miami wins 31-21.
Well, there you go. His 4th upset, as he said he was going to pick, but I disagree with him. Virginia Tech had a horrendous 0-2 start to the season. They had national title aspirations dashed very, very quickly. But they have regrouped to win 8 in a row and are clearly the best team in the ACC. The biggest reason why? Tyrod Taylor's play. He is now the winningest quarterback in Virginia Tech history, and they've had some pretty good quarterbacks. So look for him to get the job done again. He's a threat with his legs, which he's always been, but he's a much better passer, ability to scoot around in the pocket. Miami, with their quarterback situation, they'll look to run the ball as they did last week, but I don't think they'll be able to pull the upset. 27-17 Hokies.
Yeah, this game could go either way, but with Miami playing without quarterback Ja'Cory Harris, the edge goes to the Hokies. It'll be a close game, but Virginia Tech will continue its rise from the dead and beat the Canes. Virginia Tech 23, Miami 20. Number 9, Nebraska travels to number 19, Texas A&M as 3-point favorites. Nebraska has just 1 loss this season, a now shocking defeat to Texas. Otherwise, the Cornhuskers could be making a case for a spot in the national title game. Texas A&M is back in the national spotlight and has an explosive offense that should give Nebraska a fight Saturday night.
Yeah, the Aggies are having their best season in recent memory. They have a balanced attack, and beating Nebraska would be the type of big win they've been looking for. The Aggies pride themselves on their football program, and it's been really down recently. But Nebraska, better offense, better defense, they get the job done. I just don't think the Aggies are going to be able to contain Nebraska's high-powered offense with Taylor Martinez. 33-24, Nebraska wins.
Yeah, Nebraska is probably still kicking itself over that loss to Texas, but the Cornhuskers are just too good to lose this game against the upstart Aggies. Nebraska has a tremendous pass defense, which is what A&M relies upon. Not that good of a recipe for the Aggies and the upset. Nebraska 35, Texas A&M 27. Next up is number 13 Arkansas taking on number 22 Mississippi State as 3.5-point favorites. Mississippi State came crashing back down to earth last week with a big loss to Alabama, and things don't get any easier as Arkansas comes into town.
Yeah, Mississippi State, tough loss last week against Alabama, killed their momentum that they had been building, and that's really what it boils down to. This is an interesting game. There's a lot of ways you can analyze it, but I'm simply going to say I'm going to ride Arkansas with their hot hand with Ryan Mallett. I think Arkansas moves to 2-1 on the road against ranked teams this year. I think they'll win 30-24.
Yeah, Alabama completed big play after big play against Mississippi State last week, so Ryan Mallett and the Arkansas offense probably can't wait till this game kicks off. This one should go much like last week's game for the Bulldogs, and that translates into a victory for the Razorbacks. Arkansas 30, Mississippi State 20. Finally, we pick a game that will take place on the world's biggest stage, Yankee Stadium. And one team is breaking out its special green jerseys for the occasion. Army takes on Notre Dame as 8-point underdogs in the Bronx Saturday night. Army has the better record, but the Irish will be looking to become bowl eligible with a win.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup, one that back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s at the old Yankee Stadium was arguably the biggest rivalry in football at the time. People are talking a lot about the new Yankee Stadium, the first football game there, and that's kind of what people are focusing on, Yankee Stadium, but people need to remember the history that's between these two teams. And as for this year, they're kind of evenly matched. Army's going to a bowl for the first time in 14 years. Notre Dame, coming off of its upset win at home against Utah, would like to get to a bowl game. I think they'll win this game. I think they'll win it 28-14, but watch out for that triple option attack that Army has. Notre Dame had trouble with that when they played Navy earlier this year.
Yeah, Notre Dame-Army may not be the rivalry it once was, but this matchup on this stage could bring back some of those memories. The Irish, in their green jerseys on the big stage of the Big Apple, won't lose this game. Notre Dame will own Yankee Stadium for one night only. Notre Dame 33, Army 20. With that, we wrap up another edition of Brad Carroll's Game Day. Be sure to check out the print version every Saturday in the pages of the Bristol Press and New Britain Herald, on my blog at bradcarrollgameday.blogspot.com, and don't forget College Game Day Rewind exclusively on my blog. For Anthony, I'm Brad. We'll see you next week.